if your budget is £1,000, 500 to £1,000, I'm not going to waste it in Botox. You're going to weigh it out in 2 to 4 months.
Starting a business, turning away clients and turning away revenue, how hard was that really?
So the one thing I do differently is I've always, for 10, 15 years, used your cells to fix you. It's not new to me. We've always done biohacking.
So I am more than honored to be sitting here with the legendary Dr. Vali. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, superstar.
No, it's honestly a pleasure. And I know it took quite some work to get her here.
Yeah. But well done for everyone coming this early in the morning as well. So well done you guys as well.
No, absolutely. Appreciate
for
it.
literally getting here.
So yeah, I think we should get right into it.
We should give them a backstory of how you got me here in the first place.
Oh my God, yeah. That we met at a friend's birthday.
We were flirting upstairs,
actually
dancing
here,
away.
yeah. It's been a good place for me. It's been a lucky place for me for this one. And we just got talking, and I was telling Dr. Vali a little bit about what I do, that I work with female founders, and obviously that I would love to interview her. And then she was just like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," you know.
I was like, let's dance instead. Let's dance. Because she's married to an Indian gentleman, so I was like, I'm Indian Tanzanian.
Oh yeah, my Indian dancing skills, I think.
So I was like, oh my gosh, she's got
broke
moves.
the ice with Dr. Vali.
Yeah. I was like, damn, she's got moves. I was like, yeah, let's just dance. There's nothing, I don't want to talk. Leave me alone.
Yeah. But yeah, it required a few Instagram messages that she never got back to me. And another time where I actually met you in person, and then I actually did manage to get you here, so that's amazing.
So persistence is key, basically. Persistence is key. And then you just have to make the other person feel so guilty that they're like, I'm definitely doing it. I'm sorry I didn't respond. I'm definitely doing it. So that's how we're here, which I'm honoured to be the first person to be part of your live. So that we're here to help you guys, basically. So I'm going to let you lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should get right into it. So Dr. Vali, you are a twice board certified dermatologist trained at UCLA and King's College. Absolutely amazing. You literally had every traditional path open, and traditional medicine open, wide open. What was the catalyst or the turning point that made you pivot from conventional dermatology and start by Dr. Vali instead?
I think, let me go way back. So guys, in full transparency, I'm 48, nearly 50, perimenopausal, so today's beautiful for me, so no hot flushes, right? So, number one. Number two, like I mentioned before, I'm Indian, so I had to become a doctor, accountant, or a lawyer, one of the others, right? So when I chose my A-levels, I actually chose Latin, arts, and classics and history for my A-levels. And then my great-aunt came into my home and said, no, you're going to do biology, chemistry, physics, and maths, and you're going to be a doctor. I was like, okay, not an issue. And then, you never want to be in the bottom of the class, so you always cruise control and try and get through. So always in cruise control, just trying to pass, because medicine's hard. Let's be honest, it's not easy. It's a tough degree to do. And then so I went to King's College, then I went to UCLA, because I was like, okay, I was like Doogie Howser, qualified really young as a consultant, and I was like, I really don't like the speciality. I went back to the government and said, retrain me into dermatology, and they're like, no, we've already funded you. You do it yourself. So contacted some friends in the US. Because I was a consultant here, went to UCLA and Cedar Sinai. They offered me professorship for just teaching. I was a very good teacher and a speaker. I like to speak a lot, I can tell. And then off the back of it, I was like, oh, what is this private medicine? Why are doctors advertising on billboards in LA? What's going on here? Because I was in the NHS. I was like, I don't understand this. And then I was like, oh, Tom Ford has done a brand and he's in skincare. If Tom Ford can do it, I can do it. And then I was just like, oh, what's funding? What's money? What's a P&L? What is all this rubbish? I haven't got time for this. And I came back here and I turned around. I was like, I spent on my first website, I spent £30,000 on my first website. And it was such a good brand that I had everyone around the world asking me for a franchise model. That's how good it was. And then it was just me. And then it's just me, and I'm working in the NHS still. So you just got to take the hit, basically. I think I've made so many failures. I've lots of money. I've raised and given it back. I've self-funded the whole way. So what happened with me is when I first came here, and I've got a good friend from back in the day, Sarah, she's sitting back there somewhere, or she's just disappeared. So she knows me from like 15 years ago. I'll tell you that story in a minute, which is really funny. So when I first came back here, I was like, okay, you know what? I just need some patience. I just need some people to come and see me. And I had, young girls go and give me some more lip. And I was like, no. You've got anxiety. No one cares about your lips. Let's fix your acne or your skin. Why are we talking about your lips? And off the back of that, it was very word of mouth. Off the back of that, they turned around and were like, well, actually, the mums would come in and say, thank you for not putting lip filler in her and thank you for fixing her skin. But the mums would come in 10, 15 years ago, their faces would be out here. I'm like, let's get your let's get your bone structure back as well. Let's get your heritage, because I'm a true believer in respecting your ethnicity, your heritage, what's unique about you, not deflating you or distorting you in any respect whatsoever. So for me, then it was a word of mouth reputation, and that's what happened. And then initially, I closed the door and I was like, no, I want to be invitation only, because I kept having arguments with patients going, no, I'm not going to give you lip filler, I'm not going to do Botox, I'm not interested in it, I'm going to work on your acne, your rosacea, your pigmentation. And actually, Sarah's back now, she's just about to sit down. And at that time, Sarah's a really famous stylist, and she's an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. And at that time, I had no style. I was wearing scrubs and Adidas trainers with like black opaque tights and a little skirt. And Sarah just looked at me, she's like, Vali. Yeah, it's true though, but you're here today, so I might as well. It's an honor. She's like, Vali, like, why, you can't dress like this. I was like, but I'm a doctor. I have 2 degrees and 7 postgraduate degrees. That's enough. How dare you?
Tell me what you wear.
And what I learned from you guys is that no matter how many degrees I have, if I don't make you feel heard, if I don't make you feel comfortable, if I don't respect your autonomy or decision making, if you can't make an informed decision. So the other rule we have in the brand is we never treat you on the same day. We literally like you to think about it and come back to us. And the other rule I've always had since day one is we don't put before and afters on social media. We never tell a 16-year-old to have her lips done, her hair done, like do a ponytail lift and all that rubbish. We never do that. We only educate and we allow you to make informed, patient decision making. So I think that's what happened. And then by Dr. Vali came, sorry, I keep speaking.
Yeah, no, that's right. It actually led me to my next question.
Yeah, the biohacking came in because of that.
Yeah. So you have obviously the skill to say no, and you have also been quite vocal about, steering clients away who want that uniform Instagram face and, telling them that less can actually be more. But let's be honest, when starting a business, turning away clients and turning away revenue, how hard was that really?
I think, who's an entrepreneur here? If you put your hands up, who wants to be an entrepreneur? Like most of you are in the room, right? So we're all here for a reason. I think when you're an entrepreneur, I think the key thing is to block out the white noise, they say. Just focus on what you believe in and just go down that line. You can't be for everyone, number one. And you've got to be for someone. And that word of mouth grows really nicely. And I think, for me, if your budget is £1,000, £500 to £1,000, I'm not going to waste it in Botox. You're going to wear it out in 2 to 4 months. So I think the key thing here is when we do a history, I'm a practicing physician. So for me, I do look at your psychosocial history. So we can thicken your hair, we can give you makeup-free skin or perfect skin. We can contour your body to suit your silhouette, gender, whatever it is, on the outside. But on the inside, if you're having panic attacks, anxiety, if you're not sleeping, if you're worried about freezing your eggs and your fertility, if you're worried about finding the love of your life, if your libido's gone, if you're perimenopausal, your testosterone's gone as well, I have to, with my Hippocratic oath, actually work on the inside first before I come onto the outside. The outside is really easy for me. I can do that in 5 minutes. But if I take the anxiety away, if I get you to sleep and get you to deep restorative sleep where you're not overthinking, if I get your body to repair itself, you're not going to be so mean to yourself. And half my job is done. And yes, I do lose money, you're right. But also, I do lose money. So I'm not going to deny I don't. I do lose money. And the growth is much slower. But the longevity of your trust with me and your lifetime value as a patient with me is much stronger. And the fact that you come in and then you tell 500 other people to come and see me, that word of mouth is such stronger. And it goes globally. And that's what I found. That suddenly clients were flying me out, or they were flying in especially to see me because of that global word of mouth. Because we're all multi-hyphenates. We all live around the world. We all travel. We all have friends everywhere. Yeah. So I think the long game actually worked in my favor. The short game, no, not at all. Yeah, of course, I lost money.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly had a vision very early on where other people haven't had it yet.
I don't think it's a vision. I actually just think, the business plan we make, we never get there.
Yeah. Keeps on
Who's made a business plan with the steps and everything like that? And who's gone in the opposite direction? All of us,
almost
right?
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, so we just know it's life, yeah.
Yeah, so you built a global brand that bridges rigorous medical science with luxury lifestyle, essentially. I mean, that in itself sounds notoriously difficult. But what would you say was the most significant hurdle or closed door you faced as a female founder?
Female founder. I don't do gender founders because I think...
Or founder.
Yeah. I think I can hide behind being a female founder. Like I just told you, I'm exhausted, I'm perimenopausal, sleep is tough for me at the moment. I'm emotionally up and down. So I can go down the gender route, or I can go down the route of, yes, I'm an immigrant child, and I had to keep 2 jobs. I worked throughout university, and I'm self-funded, and I've always had that work ethic, and I've always thought I'm never enough. But I don't think it's that. I think it's more, as a medic, in medicine, you get trained to do the outcome. When you have a patient, you have to give them the outcome. And I think it's that training that solidified me at a very young age to be like, oh, this is what you want. Oh, Dr. Vali, build us a clinic. Okay, I'll go build you a clinic. I have to give you an outcome. So I think it's not like, oh, I don't have the tenacity, I don't believe I can do it. It's more like, oh, that's what you want, so I'm going to just do it for you. Because we're in servitude, as practicing physicians, we're in servitude of the patient or the client. Or if you're in the service industry, I always say to people, if you're in the service industry, you're a servant of who you're servicing, right? If you're selling consumer goods, you're still servicing a client. So as long as you put the other person as a priority rather than your own objectives, then you're going to get to your goalpost. The thing that bugs me is when people are like, she's a Botox doctor. This is Dr. Vali, she's a Botox doctor. I'm like, hold on. wait. So the one thing I do is I never correct anyone. I'm like, a lot of people don't say she's a dermatologist. They don't say that, she's board certified. They never say any of that. She's just, because everyone's doing the 1-day course of injectables and all that rubbish at the moment. So everyone's a Botox doctor. Everyone's an injectable doctor.
Yeah,
so
sure.
They're rebranding aesthetics and they're calling it regenerative aesthetics because you guys as consumers want to use your cells to fix you, rightly so, because we're 9 billion different people, right? So it's more regenerative aesthetics. We do longevity, we do biohacking, we do medical wellness. So the one thing I do differently is I've always, for 10, 15 years, used your cells to fix you. It's not new to me. We've always done biohacking. We do patented technology. We own our own IP. We own our own formulation. We have an R&D board for skin technology, and we have an academic board to look at our protocols. Everything in me, that ethos and work ethic of integrity, comes from medicine training. So it comes from being a doctor. And I think when people are like, I'm going to bypass and I'm just going to not have that. And I think work gives you that discipline. Working for someone else gives you that discipline. So I always say to young entrepreneurs or Gen Z, go work for someone else for a little bit
Before
to just get that corporate discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all got to work hard to get where we want to be, right? I think we should also talk a bit about your brand ethos, which is look like a superstar and perform like a legend. First of all, legendary, and I love it. As we said, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the room today who are running on back-to-back meetings, high adrenaline and sheer willpower. From a medical perspective, what does it actually look like to perform like a legend?
Who knows what biohacking is? Anyone? Yeah, but we've got a few biohackers here. So using your cells to fix you. So who's doing intermittent fasting at the moment? Yeah, there's a couple of people. Who's wearing a Whoop ring, an Oura ring or Whoop tracker? Who's got the 8 sleep? Anyone's doing that? Okay. Who's doing breath work, infrared sauna, ice bath? Okay. So who's doing NAD peptides? Yeah. So we're mid-level here. And then who's doing stem cells, exogenous growth hormone, testosterone, HRT, anything like that? Perfect. So biohacking is simply using your cells to fix you, right? It's nothing scientific. It's nothing great. It's like you and I go to the GP and I'm complaining of burnout, exhaustion. I'm emotionally up and down. I can't sleep at night. My husband irritates me. You're like, my kids don't let me sleep. And they're like, yeah, can you just do my hormonal profile, see if I'm okay? And the bloods come back normal. But you're epigenetically different to me. We all sit in this normal distribution for the bloods, right? But you're epigenetically different to me. Your ethnicity is different to me. Your age is different to me. Your fertility profile, your hormonal profile might be different to me. Yeah, I'm going through perimenopause, you're going through having children. So you're in different life cycles, right? So biohacking is where we use a specific biomarkers for you in your own bell curve. And we don't do normal, we do optimal. And optimal moves at 140%. So we're going to improve your sleep to 140%. Because sleep is where your body repairs itself, where the emotional thoughts from the amygdala, the hippocampal area, is laid down into the prefrontal logical area, where where your microbiome is reset, where your growth hormone surges, elixir of youth. So that's why we want to work on your brain function first, right? So that's what you want. And it's going to become mainstream. Well, it is become, everyone's talking about longevity and biohacking at the moment, but it is going to become mainstream in the NHS and other practices because it has to, because you guys as consumers are demanding it, that actually I'm very different to her and she's very different to me. Can we have a very personalized approach?
Can you actually tell us what peptides are and why they are such a non-negotiable when looking to, achieve better skin goals and daily
Who's on
goals?
TikTok and Instagram? Who's looking at all the peptide algorithms? Everyone's got it coming up. I think you can tell me more than I can tell you. Now, everyone's a doctor on TikTok and Instagram. So peptides, is anyone on a peptide program or is anyone injecting peptides at the moment? Manjaro, so you're on a GLP-1. Anyone else on a GLP-1, GIP? Yep, perfect, I am. Anyone who's on actual peptide, that's a peptide hormone, so that concentrates. So that's the first thing. So GLP-1s, GIPs, Wegovy, Saxenda, Ozempic, Mounjaro, they're peptides, but they're hormonal peptides. So their concentration is this much, okay? We don't give them on their own. We combine them with peptides. So the peptides we are combining with them, their concentration is actually this much. So the amino acids, they're simple proteins, and you have a different peptide to unlock different things. So your mood, your energy, your gut, your libido, your sleep cycle. So different peptides will unlock different, your concentration, your performance. And what happens, on Instagram, everyone's talking about GHKCU for your skin, hair and nails. Then they're talking about BPC 157 for inflammation. And they're talking about epithelon for longevity. If you're going to pick a mix and inject yourself as a pincushion, your body is not going to understand it at all. And the body is the best AI system in the world, right? Like in the universe. So the whole point about peptides is you want to work on a group of peptides specifically for each organ. So I'm on Semax, Celanc, and DSIP at the moment because I'm an entrepreneur. I want to have prefrontal logical thinking in my decision making, but also I want to have deep restorative sleep with my DSIP. So I'm microdosing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but only for a few months until my body starts producing itself, because by the time you hit 40, 50, the concentrations of these things reduce with time. So, and then we pair it with other things. We might combine it with NAD and work on the mitochondrial optimization, the energy. We might combine it with plasma exchange and clean out all the microplastics and stuff in your body. We might combine it with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So it depends on your practitioner, your biohacker, your longevity physician, how they want to move the needle. But the key thing about peptides, whether you're on GLP-1s, combine them with, we combine them with CJC and ipamorelin, because CJC keeps you in fat burning, ipamorelin protects the muscle, and muscle's key for longevity, whereas the GLP-1s actually destroy it all, right? But also, where you're going to go when the highest dose of Mounjaro is up there. So you want to be at the lowest dose possible, but still fat burning and still getting your metabolism. And the studies are now showing that microdosing on GLP-1s is actually good for longevity, inflammation, and all other things as well. Right?
If you use them rightly.
But you have to use them correctly, you have to combine them correctly, and yeah, you have to do it properly.
Yeah, but no one really tells you that, right? They'll probably just prescribe you to
I'm a little person. Yeah, I'm just one person in the world, but like obviously you guys are going to go tell other people now that you know, so it's good.
Yeah, so maybe let's also talk a bit about NADs and what they are.
Is anyone on NMN supplements? Perfect. Has anyone done NAD here at all? Yeah. Perfect. So NAD is a buzzword. It's been around for a few years. Who does IVs? Who has prescription grade IVs for energy, mood? Okay. So in IVs are just vitamins going through here, 99% bioavailability because it goes past its first pass metabolism. Because when you're taking it this way, your supplements, after about 3 to 6 months, you get the high initially. But after 3 to 6 months, your body's clever enough to be like, oh, we already recognize this supplement. Put it through first pass metabolism, digest it here. Is it really getting to the scalp to grow your hair? So you'll get, the magnesium that you took after 3 to 6 months won't work for sleeping. You'll notice that and you're like, oh, do I have to take 2 more? Do I have to take 3 more? So your body gets used to it and you have to challenge your gut and your body in different ways. So in terms of NAD, when you're taking it intravenously, when you're taking anything intravenously or liposomally or sublingually, the absorption is over 99%. So that's a key thing. What is the absorption pathway? So in our skincare, we've got BAC12, a patented molecule, biomimetic adaptive complex 12, because it penetrates all the way to the medical layer of the skin, the reticular dermis. Normally, you need a prescription for that. And we've made that so that you don't need a prescription. It's got the 12 ingredients that work on pigmentation, open pores, oiliness, laxity, fine lines, wrinkles, blah, blah, blah. And we did that specifically because of bioavailability. That's the whole thing. Does it get to the end point? If I'm going to buy something, is it going to get to the end point? And how long will it last? So NAD intravenously is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. This is a long word, super, super long word. By the time you hit 40, 50, your mitochondria, your energy, is gone by 50%. So, you know, you're not doing as much as you used to do. The edge of the day hits you a little bit more. You're a little bit more irritated. You get fatigued more easily. So the reason why it's a buzz thing at the moment is because everyone's doing IV NADs. So they're doing intravenously. Yeah. But you've got to be careful how you do it. Doing it one-off doesn't work. You have to do a loading dose, 2 to 3 days. So you go low, mid, high. Because fundamentally, you don't want to be spending your whole life on IVs or on injections. You want to start getting your body to work for itself. So you do that for 2 to 3 days. And then you go on subcut NAD for a few months. And then your body starts recognizing it. And what it does, it starts going, oh, what is this? Oh, we should start making this. We used to make this. Remember the guy that rejected you when you were younger and you were flirting, he never called you back, and then he sees you like 10 years later and you're hot and successful. Right? Yes. And then he's like, oh, and you're like, sorry, who are you? Kind of thing. So it's the same kind of thing with your body. Your body, you have that negative feedback, you have to unlock the loop. And that's what you do when you're microdosing. Yeah? And that's the key thing here. All these things should be microdosed to get your body start producing itself. You shouldn't be taking it for the rest of your life. That doesn't work because your body is really clever and it'll get used to it. And what NAD does is it goes into every energy factor of yourself and it cleans it up. It's like a detox for your whole body. And that means your brain will work faster. And I say to people, you're not going to run a marathon next week. You're not Usain Bolt. What's going to happen is the edge of the day is not going to hit you as hard. Your immune system is going to be optimized. Your sleep is going to be better. Your mood is going to be better. You're not going to get run down, but you're not going to feel it significantly. You're just going to be like, oh, wow, I'm not feeling the edge of the day, because we're all multi-hyphenates and we're all feeling the edge of the day at the moment. It's too much what we're doing. Because our body is... God never put us on this planet to do as much as we do. We were supposed to be the homemaker, right? And the men were supposed to be the hunter-gatherers. And a lot of us are doing multiple roles at the moment. So we're challenging our body in a way it was never designed to be done.
Yeah, so we essentially have to retrain our bodies to actually cope with that stress. So would you say there is such a thing as being too young to start on peptides, NAD, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there is no medico-legally, you want to make sure it's indicative, right? So if I've got a 22-year-old acne patient who has pustular acne and she's suffered from acne her whole life and she's got scarring, I am going to put an NAD on the inside to reduce the inflammatory component of what's happening. And that reduces the inflammation that's causing the acne. Then I'm going to work on the acne. So you always approach it in a 360 manner, inside out.
So there is one major pillar of your wellness lab that I want to touch on, which is sexual health and libido. And it's a topic that is often left out on female empowerment and biohacking conversations. Why is sexual health such an important piece of the longevity puzzle?
I think when you come for a consultation with us, it's about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour. And we ask you about mood, energy, libido, gut health. And when we ask you about the libido, you know, sometimes it's an uncomfortable position. And 45% of our client base is male, but our 55%, we ask them about the female health. You know, is sex still pleasurable? Are you still having an orgasm? Is it painful now down below? Like, you know, are you young and you've got vaginismus? So we have to... Libido is a marker of longevity. Like, you know, when you have an orgasm, you're releasing oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, all good stuff. So it is key. And this is when patients come to me and they're like, no, my libido's gone. I'm like, well, are you stroking yourself? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, do that first before you come to me, right? That's free of charge. Because the key thing is to wake your body up, right? You have to wake your body up. I can do it. Like, I can give you treatment modalities and stuff like that, but you have to wake your body up. And libido is not about perimenopause and andropause, because men go through the male menopause as well. It's not about the testosterone decline and the estrogen decline. It's also in young, so I'll give you an example. My young 25-year-old who's a multi-hyphenate, is an entrepreneur, is a person of power, is a person of influence. She comes in and she's like, Dr. Vali, you know, I've got a spot here and I'm looking at my pictures and I need to lift my lip here. And, you know, I saw the Barbie trap Botox. I'm thinking of having it done. My calves are too big, so let's do some Botox in there. And actually, I want to freeze my eggs. I want to look at the inside as well. And then I'm like, are you sleeping? No. Are you overthinking? Yes. Do you have anxiety? Yes. Okay. Are you in a relationship? No, that's why I want to freeze my eggs. I'm like, okay, before we go on the outside, let's work on the inside first. You're on adrenal fatigue. You're running on cortisol, right? So all day long, the swipe, the comments, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, the closing the deal, dopamine hit, all day long. The adrenals sit here, just above your kidneys, and all day long they pump. Regardless of whether you break a nail or you have a bereavement, they don't know the difference. And eventually the negative feedback, they fatigue, and it's called adrenal fatigue. Then on top of it, they make sex hormones. So they make your testosterone and all the fun stuff. And that fatigues as well. So the first thing we do with someone like her is we wouldn't do her Traptox and her, slim her calves down and fix her acne. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give her some NAD, reduce the inflammation in her body, work on the sleep, maybe some peptides if she's a mid-level biohacker, or start on low-level biohacking. And in a few weeks' time, we reassess her. I'm like, okay, come on, I need to make some money. Let's do your trap Botox. Let's do your calves. No, I'm good, Dr. Van. I was like, damn. But that's what you want to do. Libido is key because it makes us all happy, right? So as we age, what happens is the lips get thinner as you age here. The lips down below become thinner as well. The labia minora majora also disintegrate. What also happens is after you've had childbirth or things like that, especially if you've had a normal vaginal delivery or episiotomy, you might leak a little bit, right? So urine incontinence. Then as you age, your estrogen declines and it's not as lubricant as possible. So we might put a CO2 laser, or you might be younger and you might have something called vaginismus where you get tightening and you get intimidated. Like there's a psychosocial aspect to it as well. So the key thing, the reason why I always ask about libido, men will never say my libido is low, by the way. Men will never admit my libido is low. Female patients will be like, yeah, actually, like, it's not like I don't find him attractive. I do, but I just don't want to rip his clothes off. I'm just tired. That's all it is. Like, leave me alone. I'm just tired. Like, not today, kind of thing. So women work with emotional connection. So you've got to work with the emotional, your alpha, theta, delta waves, all that kind of fun stuff. Men work with physical connection, the touch, right? So we always say, yeah, let's work on your libido. And there's different things we can work on your libido with. There's unnatural and natural. But I always say virgin or non-virgin. So I'm like, which one are you comfortable with? And it depends on diagnosis as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super interesting topic for sure. And we could probably keep talking about it. But I did bring one of your tools. And we have actually quite a bit of your merchandise out on display. But one thing I am absolutely obsessed with, and it's the cutis, right? And I mean, I'm not the person to be telling you what it does, but I cannot do my morning routine without it. It is fabulous. So maybe you can just tell us a bit about it.
This is good for your libido, basically. No. So this is actually based, true story. This was, I think, 10 years ago, I went to the founder of, 10, 12 years ago, I went to the founder of, what's the brand? Foreo. Do you remember that brush people were using, oscillation technology, vibrate? I went to him, I said, hey, Felipe, I want to use oscillation technology because oscillation vibration technology creates sonic wave patterns. And I don't want to use microcurrent because microcurrent only goes to the epidermis and dermis. It doesn't go to the bone, the fat pads, the muscles, or anything else. And to contour, I need to go all the way to the bone, the periosteum, because as you age, your skull resorbs. And then everything slips off. Remember grandma's big eyes, and then now you see her, she's got these tiny, tiny eyes, because the orbital rim moves back. The maxilla, the mandible, the skull resorbs, the fat pads, the jowls start coming in. This is normal aging, there's nothing wrong with it. So he went and made Foreo, because he had a sex toy brand called Luna, I think it was, right? So he had so you're shaking your head, so you know, right? He had a sex toy brand called Luna or something like that. So I was like, let me work in your factory, and I want to work on this technology. So he went and made Foreo, and I went and made my previous brand, LMS, right? And then, what do you call it? So then I went to another sex toy factory in Germany, to his competitor, and I said, okay, we need to create oscillation patterns, vibration patterns, one that goes deep to the bone, to micro contour. That's how you get the cheekbone popping out, the jawline snatch. One that goes to the muscle to release tension. So remember when you cut your finger and mum says put it under cold water or put it under potato, so that nociception pathway of of the cut is overridden by the pain gateway theory, of the thermoregulation of the cold water or the cold potato. So then we created one for tension relief. That was for me personally. When I take meetings, I just sit there like this. It's pad and 4, right? One for the fat pads to reposition the fat pads. So it goes, as you age, your orbital fat pad, you get the hollowing under the eyes. Your malafat pad comes down. Your buccal fat pad gives you the jowling that you get. You're not as tight as you used to be. So, and then one for microcirculation to wake up the skin before you do your skin prep and stuff like that. And then one for depuffing, because, you know, if you had a hard good night out or if you're on a plane, you want to depuff for the lymph nodes and the sinus pockets. So I needed those patterns. So that's what I did. I got that, and then I got medical grade. This took me 3 years to make in terms of engineering. I got medical grade silicone. This is metallic chrome. We built a Beats by Dre case as well, so you can travel with it. I'm always on tension relief, and then I do lifting and tightening. And before the events, I do my micro contouring. And then we created a TikTok version, a baby one, for my younger clients, which has 8,800 transanatomical oscillations. And this only has 3 settings. So this, I mean, you can switch it on. I think if you can switch them on, you'll feel the vibration. So this gives you big lips. This lifts the brow, the Bella Hadid brow, and depuffs you. So yes, it's based on vibration technology. Yes, you can use it on your face and neck. But should you choose to use it elsewhere, that's up to you, but make sure it's hygienic, okay? So it's multi-purpose. The other thing I didn't do, and this is where integrity comes in, the other thing I didn't do, and that's where it will get you far as an entrepreneur, I didn't want to tell you to buy my skincare brand. I didn't put it in a box with my skincare brand intentionally because I wanted the anatomical oscillations to go to each anatomical layer without being blocked by anything. So for me, you know, when you buy a device and then you have to use a gunk with it to get the microcurrent. Microcurrent only goes to the skin. It doesn't go to anatomical layers anywhere else, right? It doesn't re-educate your anatomy at all. And I was like, you know, the board were like, Dr. Vali, you've got to put it with the Hero Concentrate Brightening and the Superstar Game Changer for the perfect canvas, and you give it like that. And I'm like, no. If they're affiliated with a brand they like, let them stay there. They'll come to me eventually when it's meant to be. But right now, this device on its own gives you the outcome you want. And literally, you just do it for a couple of minutes. You'll see your cheekbone pop, your jawline pop, and you're done. You can either maintain the work you've had done, or if you're scared of needles, that's a nice virgin way of doing it.
Definitely. Highly recommended. I mean, if you do something, you do it right, and it's absolutely fantastic. So to close out this founder focus, Dr. Vali, you have created an incredible community, a flagship space in Selfridges, which we've all been able to look at, and a invite-only global clientele. If you could go back to the Shawana who was just getting started to build this empire and give her one piece of advice, what would it be?
I hate this question. Because I've got more than one piece of advice. I'd give her a slap firstly. I'd give her a hug, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, well done. I'd give her a hug because I think in the journey you forget to celebrate the wins, right? You're always looking at the next step, the next goal, the losses. I'd give her a hug, and I'd just say, get on with it. Stop asking for validation. Stop asking for people to help you. You're just going to have to do it yourself. And you're just going to have to break every door down, like you did, until you get a yes, and get on with it. Because if you don't believe in if you don't self-optimize yourself to be like, I could get there, why is anyone else going to believe in you? And it came from my parents, actually. When I was really young and the medical school exams, at 3 a.m. you'd be studying, and my dad would come in with a Lucozade bottle, and, you know, as an immigrant, he'd come in and he was like, I can't give you education, but I can pray on your forehead. Every word you read right now will earn you like £10 in the future. And, you know, he'd pray on your forehead and you'd just be like, okay, I better pass my exams, otherwise my dad might not like me. Kind of thing. But I would just say, yeah, no pressure. But I would just say, get on with it, remove bad energy, and correct the rhetoric. If you don't like something that's been said about you, correct the rhetoric, correct the narrative, because it's your story. So don't apologize and correct the narrative. Don't be humble. Don't be humble.
Not like Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Don't be humble. And like, I think fake it till you make it actually works, by the way. And this, you know, this whole manifestation that's happening, maybe I call it fake it till you make it, but I'm going to say it. If you don't believe you can't do it, then no one else is going to knock that door down for you. And I would say, I don't know if anyone else had this, but I would say it doesn't matter how many friends you have, because I've got a lot of friends who are starting out in their entrepreneurship journey. It doesn't matter, like, I was the most popular on Facebook, Instagram. It doesn't matter how many friends you have. Your friends aren't the people that are meant to support you. It's the strangers that will validate you. Friends are friends for a reason. Keep them as friends. Yeah, so that's one key thing. You need your friends to help you your personal life and what they're there for. So don't be like, oh, she didn't support me, she didn't attend, anything like that. No. Your validation will come from your confidence being built, repetition, persistence, resilience, all those key words that you've all heard of before, unfortunately. And have a good cry and then get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
and just cry with your friends. Like, have a good cry. And I remember, like, you know this, because I think you came in one day by Dr. Vali, and she was sitting there. And I was like, I came in the room, I was having a meltdown. And I love my patients, because my patients teach me so much. Like, you guys teach me so much, and you challenge me so much. I have to keep up to date, because you challenge me. I love my patients, because I go to my patients. I'm like, you know, when I first got married, it was unusual for me. I wasn't married before, and I got married late. I got married at 38, 39. So I'd go to my, I hate him, I'm going to kill him in his sleep. And then my patient's like, oh yeah, by year 5 you'll be fine, don't worry. This is normal. So when I was dating and trying to find, you know, the key partner in life, you'd be like, no, keep going. You know, my patients gave me advice in places that I couldn't get advice from. So I think your first client, your first consumer, your first thing, they're your gold people, and make sure you take care of them. To this day, I still take care of people that supported me and waited for me on a staircase in a hairdresser's in Walton Street, right? To this day. Don't forget the people that got you there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here today and supporting me and for telling your story. It was absolutely amazing. I think we have a little bit of time for a few questions. So if there are any questions you have for Dr. Vali, please raise your hand.
Hi, Dr. Vali. So we're here on the topic of female foundership. So I was wondering, apart from all the success that you have, what is one thing that you remember, not as being a founder, but a female founder, that was very difficult for you throughout your career, and how did you overcome it?
I think I haven't had that story of, you know, less than certain percentage goes to female founders in terms of private equity and funds. Yeah, so I haven't, because I haven't gone down that route. However, I have had the story of, you know, when people dangle the carrot, we want to have your franchise model, we want to have this, and then you're sitting with a family office or sovereign wealth fund, and, you know, there's 4 men in the room, and you've got the CFO, and you're like, they're like, beauty? What's beauty? Right? Well, what's now everyone's calling me, but before it's like, what's beauty? What's wellness? What's biohacking? I think if you don't, and I walked away from funding. So when we were building Selfridges, I raised 2 million at a 20 million valuation within 4 weeks. And it was 3 family offices, and 1 family office came to me, and it was like 4 or 5 men, and 1 was ex-Goldman Sachs, and da-da-da-da. And the gentleman just said to me, oh, but you haven't had your babies yet. So how are you going to manage everything? And at that point, I just looked at him, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the other gentleman tried to pass it by, and he's like, oh, no, I'm a father of 4. And I said, no, I heard the question. I can give you my gynecologist number. My eggs are frozen. So should you like to do your due diligence there in the data room check? Because, you know, they check a data room and everything like that. I can do that for you. And at that point, I just turned around and said, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. Can you please leave the premises? Right? And that's it. So I think it still is that it is. I haven't gone down that route, and I will have to go down that route of raising. But I think know what your boundaries are and surround yourself with good energy. And I genuinely don't say I'm a female founder, because I think you're limiting yourself when you say I'm a female founder. That's why I don't do the gender stuff. When I don't say you know, I'm a child of immigrants and my ethnicity and blah, 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 because you end up putting limiting beliefs on yourself. So it's literally like, no, I can do it. If he can do it, why can't I do it? I'm prettier, I'm funnier. yeah. You know, I give birth to humans, he doesn't. That kind of thing. You know, I ovulate every month. Yeah, kind of thing. So I would just say, remove the gender thing and actually go the opposite direction and be like, well, if he can do it, why can't I do it? Kind of thing. And this is the other thing. When you're going to your longevity practitioner or your aesthetic practitioner and stuff like that, you want to make sure, especially a practicing physician, by the way, especially a doctor, you want to make sure that they take the medical history, that you're safe, right? That they, there's no negligence, they're not missing a key diagnosis or anything like that. So I had to ask you those questions first. And in terms of our world, in the biohacking world, there's EEG, neurofeedback, right? And obviously off license, this, Botox is licensed to treat migraines off license, right? So you can do that in the hospital with your primary care physician. He can refer you in. At Queen Square, there's loads of neurologists that do it, or you can do it privately with us as well. And then neurofeedback's a really good way of rewiring your brain. And the key thing about longevity is neuroplasticity, right? So when you rewire your brain, especially as you should always challenge your brain. I don't know if you've heard this, but you should always do something new every day to challenge your brain, to rewire your brain, to get you out that loop system, to get new brain waves forming. So for me, I'm going down that route with you. And the other thing I would do is I'd actually give you NAD to reduce the inflammation. And in terms of the reason why the GLP-1s are working for your migraine is because you're probably low dosing. And it's giving you that anti-inflammatory longevity element. I would work on that inflammation and give you a peptide program for inflammation as well.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. I've got a question regards the microdosing you mentioned at the beginning of your talk. I heard that if someone like myself who suffers from adenomyosis, which is not endometriosis, is there a GLP, or I heard any other sort of peptides, do they really work? And is there something else one can consider?
So adenomyosis is like inflammation of your uterine cavity where the tissue's stuck to each other.
Yeah,
endometriosis is slightly different, but they're both painful.
Very.
So the first thing is your gynecologist will give you medication. She might put you on the pill. They might do some transvaginal ultrasound or hysteroscopy. They might scrape you out. So metformin. Okay, fine. So you're on something already. GLP-1s will help you in terms of the inflammation. So the studies have shown in gynecological conditions, low-dose GLP-1s do help. I would start with Wegovy, Ozempic, semaglutide, not Mounjaro, right? And I would go to someone, I'd ask your gynecologist, someone who's now using it in practice in their gynecological patients, to be like, what low dose, what microdose would you give me? For you, I would consider starting low dose and reducing it about like 100. So you're microdosing. But if you're trying to lose weight, because also BMI helps, reduction in the weight as well helps your adenomyosis. If you're trying to lose weight, we'd go up, but we'd combine it with CJC and a bromelain. We'd combine it with the peptides again, because we don't want to become immune to it. So that's the way to do it. But I'm really sorry to say it, but not many people know how to do it. And they don't do it safely.
Come to you.
No, it's not that. I'm not even promoting myself. It's just, firstly, GLP-1s are available to everyone online, right? And you're taking it blindly, and we don't know how to microdose it. And we're not combining it with peptide, and our body gets used to it, and the flare-up that was suddenly controlled, or the migraine that was suddenly controlled, is no longer being controlled, right? So that's why at some point involve a practicing physician who specializes in it, because if they've got we've had GLP-1s for over a decade. This is not new to us. So if they've got a really good track record of using it with a patient cohort, and they've got adenomyosis, endometriosis, PCOS patients, or the new word for PCOS, then it's different. Then you've got someone. So find a gynecologist who specializes in it and can partner the two together. Yeah. But it is painful, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, thank you so much, because I think this has been really inspirational to everyone. My question is, have you always been this motivated and this kind of powerful as a speaker and this confident in yourself, or at any stage during your journey did you speak with, a life coach, a therapist, a business coach? Like, what's your journey with that?
I've never had a coach or a mentor in my whole journey at all. I think my mum's slipper is my coach and mentor. Right. I've literally, I want one. It's not like I haven't interviewed and I've tried to find a mentor, because I think they really do make a difference and open a few doors. I haven't. I think I've always been a bit cheeky in my personality. And I think what happened with me is because I wanted to go down the creative route. In medicine, this is the only way I could be creative. And I remember in second, this is why I'm having flashbacks. In second year at medical school, we do something called the Diwali show, right? So, in the first year, they called me the feisty fresher, right? So that was my name. And then the following years, I'm going to run this show, you watch. So I took it out of the university and I put it in Brixton Academy. It was the first time anyone took it out of the university setting, and I hosted in Brixton Academy. And then I came out with like 10 or 12 different outfits. I felt like I was hosting the Grammys or something. And I had men carrying me to in togas, and I think I've always had it a little bit in terms of that showmanship. But I feel like there are days that I don't have confidence, and those are the days that I do have to fake it. And I go off like I'm enjoying myself so much here, and I go off the energy because you all made an effort to come here, right? You've all woken up this morning and you've got the train tube, whatever it is, to come and see me. Like, I'm privileged, I'm honoured. So for me, even if I had a bad morning, I still have to rock up, show up and tell you I had a bad morning and have that vulnerability with you. Like, I've just had, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but my face is slightly fatter than what it is there, because I've just had fat transfer from here, put in here, because I'm trying out a new treatment before we bring it into my practice for regenerative aesthetics. Because, I've done the sculpture and all the fun stuff. I want to step it up a little bit more. So for me, I'm like, I've got to wear a hat, got to wear glasses, put my hair in front, don't feel as confident as I used to. But you still rock up and you still show up and you fake it till you make it, right?
Dr. Vali, you're an absolute inspiration. Thank you so much for being here and inspiring all of us this morning. It was absolutely worth getting out of bed for. I have a personal question for my son, who had eczema since age 4. And literally the top dermatologists in UK would give steroids.
Yeah.
And I've had to fight this his entire life. So he's recently discovered peptides, and he's telling me he's not using the cortisone, and he only recently started using it. So how do you approach a 19-year-old?
He still listens to you? He still listens to you?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so,
fine.
just about.
Okay, look, traditional medicine, our training was very different. So I don't blame the physician. This is the way we train. Traditional medicine is curative, and then try to move to being preventative. So it's not our fault as practicing physicians. However, if you're a curious physician, you are going to go continue your education and continue learning, right? So I don't blame the doctor. That's the way we've been trained. Symptom, diagnosis, treatment. Which kind of treatment modalities? Differential diagnosis. This is the different treatment modalities. In my world, we're changing so fast, and it's all research only. So remember, it's not FDA approved, it's not guided. It is all of us just literally moving the needle every single day and trying to be those change makers. When you have an autoimmune condition such as chronic retractive eczema, which is what you're describing, the first thing I'd look at in the history is there an overall autoimmune picture? I'd go through his history when he grew up. What other autoimmune conditions did he have? Did he have hay fever? Are his joints involved? Is there anything else involved? And then what we tend to do is we tend to work on the inflammation on the inside and optimize the immune system. So we would go down the NAD route. We would go down the peptides route. We would go down the TPE route, plasma exchange. I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, these big yellow bags of plasma, yellow bags being exchanged and pumped in, all the good things, all the dirty stuff coming out and all the good things being pumped in, or your dark red blood going through one way, oxygenation, ozone therapy, and then bright red blood going back into you like dialysis, right? So we would do all that kind of fun stuff, but I still partner it with traditional medicine. So when he's having a flare-up, I'd still be using the steroid. Yeah.
Right.
So you've got to do the both. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've come to an end.
I think we've come to an end. Well done, you.
Well, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Dr. Vali, again. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, guys. But I think right now you guys have the opportunity. There were so many hands in the room that said, I'm an entrepreneur. You literally have the opportunity to network with each other at the moment. And you've done this. You brought this community together. So you literally have the opportunity to take everyone's numbers and network with each other and see if you guys can help each other, basically. And hopefully I'll be coming where you're sitting here and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have a question. So I'm looking forward to it, right? So keep going. That's what I'm going to say.
Absolutely. Thank you.